Welcome to Digital Fabrications. Today we're going to be making a simple flat carbon fiber part out of 2.5 millimeter carbon. Looks something like this. One of my friends supplied me this simple drawing here with some accurate dimensions, and we're going to turn that into a usable part for him. So yeah, let's get into it. We're in Fusion 360. I get asked often, what CAD software should I get into with drafting and all that stuff, and my answer is always Fusion 360 at this point. I have drawn parts in SolidWorks and Inventor and various other CAD platforms, but about 2 years ago I made the switch to just using Fusion 360 all the time, and I've been quite happy with it because I do run my own CNC machines, so Fusion allows me to just do all my drafting and all my tool pathing and CAM right here in the same package. Plus we have all the cloud storage, so I can access the files on any machine that I'm working on. So that works out great for me. Alright, so let's get into the drawing of this part here. We're going to start out by creating a sketch. We're going to create it on this plane here. I like to, if I can, orient my parts the way that they're going to be produced on the machine. It saves me some time down the road when I get into the CAM programming. You see here we have our 3 lines. Blue represents Z, which is up. Green represents our Y. And X is represented by this red line here. So we're going to pick this plane here. Okay, and then we're going to orient our view here on our view cube, so we're looking down on the part. Okay, so from looking at this part, it's a simple flat plate that has 3 holes in it. I tend to draw the left side of my parts, and then we'll mirror over to the right side to save some time. So here we go. We're going to start with that center hole. Grab our center diameter circle. Click and start our circle here. I noticed that was in inches, so we're going to go ahead and change over to millimeters for this part. We're going to grab a dimension here. We're going to tell Fusion that this is a 3 millimeter hole or circle. It's not really a hole yet, but it will be. Then we're going to need our second circle. Click. I'm not going to assign a dimension to that. Instead, what I'm going to do is going to constrain it to be equal to our original. That way, if we need to make a change, we only change it in one place instead of 2. Next thing we're going to do is this hole needs to be directly in line with that one, so we're going to just grab our horizontal/vertical constraint, and we're going to click on this circle and constrain it to that one. Now it is locked to the X axis. It can move along this axis, but it cannot move vertically. That's exactly what we want. And we know from looking at our drawing that this should be 25.5 millimeters away from the center. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to grab a dimension, click on this center point of the circle there, and then to our origin, and we're going to dial in 25.5, and that is now a fully constrained circle. Okay, for our next part we need to draw the outer part of the bar, and we can see in this illustration here that it should be 8 millimeters wide. So we're going to start out by drawing a line. And we're going to constrain it to be a vertical line. You see how that blue indication comes up there. That way we know it's going to be a vertical line. And we're going to dial that in at 8 millimeters. Not too useful to us being off to the side like that, but we're going to fix that in a moment. Firstly, we're going to right click on this line and we're going to hit normal/center line. And that's going to turn it into a construction center line. Next, we're going to grab our midpoint constraint, and we're going to click on that line And then we're going to click on our origin. And Fusion is going to lock the center point of that line to our origin, which is exactly what we want for that. Next, we're going to grab our line tool and we're going to draw a rectangle. Constrain to the end of that line. We're just going to come out here and roughly go past our circle that we drew earlier. And then we're going to keep a vertical line coming down. We're going to click, and then we're going to go and constrain this line to the bottom of our center line. Now you can see this top line is fully constrained. It's turned black. It's horizontal, which is exactly what we want. But this bottom line is not perfectly horizontal, and that is a bit of a problem. We can drag it around, we can move it, and that's not what we want. We need that to be fully constrained, and we need it to be horizontal. So we're going to grab our horizontal vertical constraint once again, click on that. We're going to click on this line to tell Fusion that that is supposed to be a horizontal line. Now we're looking much better, but we can still drag the end of this part out, and we definitely need to constrain that as well. So we're going to grab our dimension tool once again. We're going to click on the line. We're going to click on the center point of that circle. And we're going to tell Fusion that we want that to be 4 millimeters away from the center of that circle. And that should work nicely for this part. Okay, that's actually all the sketching we need to do for this part. We're going to mirror it once it's turned into a 3D part, once it's extruded. That's what I should have said. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish this sketch. And I like to go to the isometric view when I'm extruding. Click on this profile. We're not going to click on our circles because we want those to remain as holes. So we're going to click on this profile here. And what we're going to do, because I like my sketches to be visible and easy to get to after I extrude, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to do a minus 2.5 millimeters. That way it extrudes down. And then we're going to click OK. Okay, so now we have half of our part that we need. We have this left half, and we don't have any rounded edges on it yet, but we're going to get there right now. We're going to go ahead and click our fillet tool. We're going to click these two corners, and we want a nice evenly rounded end to this part. And we know that this part is 8 millimeters wide. So what's half of that? It's 4 millimeters. I'm not exactly a mathematician, but I can count that high. So we're gonna, but we're not gonna need to, because you know computers are pretty good at math. We're gonna go ahead and use that. So we're gonna say we know that this part is 8 millimeters, and we want an exact rounded edge. So 8 millimeters. And you notice the part looks all whacked out, but stay with me for a second, okay? 8 millimeters divided by 2. And now we have a nice rounded edge, okay? And the computer's doing the work for us. All right. So we still only have half of a part, but we're going to fix that right now by mirroring this. Okay, we're going to come over here to create. We're going to go down to mirror. And we're going to select this body. We're going to go mirror plane, and you could actually go to the planes, but we're going to just click on the edge of this part. You see how that lights up? We're going to click that, and that's going to mirror it for us. We're going to do operation join, so that way this all becomes one singular body. Hit OK. And there is our part. There's the top view, and there's our home view, and you can see it now exists in 3D space. There it is. And now we are clear to produce this part, which we have actually already done. I'll show you actually some pictures of the completed part as installed on the car. And this part is going to be actually tested this weekend. And depending on how that goes, we may produce a few and maybe sell them to the other RC enthusiasts that are running the Schumacher Icon F1 car. What this does is it ties these two bars in here, and it stiffens the car up a little bit for these high traction black carpet tracks that we run on these days. So the guys are going to test it this weekend and let us know, and maybe we'll see about doing a run of them. We will cover the cam tool pathing and even the CNC machining in a future video. But that's it for this one today. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'll do my best to respond to the comments. And please look out for some other videos. We're going to be getting into some more advanced parts and probably some tracing of model airplane plans and things like that. Just whatever we get into, we will be doing some videos. And hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you on the next one.